All right, so this day turned into a real cluster. So I was up 3,900, and it seemed like a decent day, but then probably around 10:30, I decided to go for one more stab at it, and I wanted to make a little bit more profit, and I didn't. So now I'm gonna close this trade out literally in a second because this turned into it. I mean, I've been sitting here all day and still the same time, and it's about 2:30. Obviously, you can see the freaking aspirin there because I got a headache and a half. And this is the part that sucks about trading is I got into it, and usually when you're waiting around, waiting around, waiting around, it just turns into a shit show. And that's what it did. And I'm literally gonna pull the trigger if we break down below this level right here. It just made a new high, low. So if we get a little bit lower and we start to see the breakdown of 50, then yeah, I'm gone. I'm going like yesterday. So I'm willing to risk another $1,000 just to see if it's going to bottom out. But at this point, this was a disaster. This trade. I'm down $7,000 on this thing. I mean, it's not the money; it's just the execution of it. Um, I really expected a lot more out of this today, and there's just been a shitload of downward pressure on it. So yeah, I mean, I'm at 58 right now, and I see I'm going to see 50 in a second. And at this point, I don't really give a shit one way or the other. So sometimes you win, and sometimes you lose, and there's nothing you can do about it. But it does suck because I could have left at 10:30 today, up $4,000, but I decided to do one more stupid freaking trade. And you know what? That's you're just playing around with it, and that's what ends up happening. So I'm gonna finish up ooh, any second. Like I said, I'm waiting to see if it gets to 50, which it probably will, because there just hasn't been any traction on this shit all day today. Absolutely nothing, you know. So I wish I could say more about it. But if all I ever did was win, guess what? I'd be a multi-billionaire at this point, and I wouldn't be talking to any of my buddies, because at that point, they, they would just pay me to trade their stocks. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you know, you got to learn. I mean, I'm up so much at this point; it doesn't make a difference one way or the other how much money I've made. So I'm gonna lose. I don't like to lose. I say I lose on average in a year's time 15 to 20% at the maximum my trades. Okay, so yeah, I'm coming in at 75, 85%. And you know what, you could say whatever you want. You don't believe me? Well, I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to prove shit to anybody. I'm not selling you anything. I'm not asking you to do anything. So I know what I do, and I don't give a shit what you think. So this is part of my losses, and I'll take it. And like I said, I'm very stubborn about losing. That's why I don't lose that often. But when I do, oh God, are they losses? So, all right, it still hasn't hit 50. That's where I told you I'd take it out. Once it crossed down to below 50, it's starting to bounce back up. So maybe, who knows? I still haven't crossed out. It's trying to bounce a little bit. I have no faith in this whatsoever. No faith. But I put my mental stop in this thing at 50. So at that point, I'm gone. I don't care. You know. So I'll lose the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, whatever it's going to be. Okay, I don't care one way or the other. But I really thought, this thing was, and I don't get me wrong. I mean, there was a point where I was down $9,000 on this trade. A little over $9,000. So, I was waiting for this thing to turn. Never did. I mean, this last push up, I really thought this was going to do it for me, and it flushed back down. So it's sort of just been aggravating all the way around. Right now it's coming back up, but I have no inkling that it's going to flush again. I really believe that as well. But who knows? You know, like I said, my whole thing was that I thought this was going to be a positive push, a hard positive push today. It made it up to 125.08 and then completely flushed back down again. And you can see, you know, when it's getting to that 125 level, you know, there's a lot of selling pressure on there, a tremendous amount of selling pressure on there. So will they be able to flush it out? I don't think so. But you know what? If I knew everything, I'd be a freaking fortune teller. That's what I would be, but I'm not. So I'm getting close. You know, I'm 1,500 out of the money. You know, so whatever. You know, at one point I was down 3,000, but I'm still holding out. If this thing hits 124.50, I'm gone. And you know, when you ask me, like, you know, how do you know you want to get out at 124.50? Well, I look at the lows it was making. I look at the recent low it's going to make it. And then I say, okay, let me give it another 5-10 cents. I look at the 200-day moving average, the 50-day moving average, and those are generally supposed to be support lines on it. And that's all you can say. And then sometimes what I like to do, I like to give it a few extra cents because a lot of people look at those markers and put their orders in. So sometimes you will see a breakdown. So realistically, if I was going to get out at the moment it was supposed to get out, it would have been 57. But unfortunately, a lot of people will put their sell order in at 57, 56, 55. So you will see a little bit of a flush down. You know, so I've got 20 cents to go, which is another $1,700. So at that point, I'll be out about 77, close to $8,000. I'll lose $4,000 for the day, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Perfectly fine with it. But you know, let's just see if this can do it. If it makes a run up, great. If it doesn't, I'll lose $4,000. So. That's really where I'm at right now. And that's all I can really say about it, to be honest with you. So I'll keep you posted.